Hey guys, Patterns in Paradise welcomes you, philosophical travelers, old and new. We have yet another podcast,
packed with contrast, meandering through wacky roads of mind, combining curious tangents intertwined. I'm Reggie.
and I am Monk. Enjoy!
Monk and Moose, we are heading up with a little summary from the last episode, which was based on positive seeds. Now, we touched quite a lot into the spiritual realm for planting positive seeds, whereas obviously with the first part to this three-part series, we were touching more on the mental and physical aspects of planting those positive seeds. So this episode, we're literally just going to be going over a couple of personal experiences we've had and summarizing how these positive seeds have benefited us in our lives. So Monk, I think it would be awesome if you could give us a little startup on how in the last maybe 2 weeks, you have maybe planted at least 1, 2, 3, however many seeds you felt have been impactful on your life.
The ones that have appeared the most prevalent have been in learning to harness and control the springing up and flourishing of negative thoughts in particular.
Yeah.
For example, and I know Moose, you helped me a lot with this, dude, the last couple of weeks, is particularly in regards to, for example, with Man is Versatile, that coming up, moments of feeling overwhelmed.
On that, by the way.
Still going, made good progress today.
Just a shout
Yes,
out.
Monk.
Man is Versatile is officially selling merchandise to all of our listeners.
Cool, merci
It's
beaucoup.
pretty good stuff if you're interested. How to defend
Getting
yourself in times of
Man.
apocalypse or
Cliche.
anything.
Versatile.
Hackers, anything, guys. It's really good stuff.
It is what it is,
You
guys.
want to become a hard-ass man? Visit Man is Versatile.
If you want to
Merci
survive
beaucoup.
a plague, you want to see what happens when the government goes dark, go to Man is Versatile. For all
And
you
if you need a bulletproof suit to survive AK-47s while looking sophisticated, go to Austin Pro. Our man Reggie has
also
been
known
working
as
very
Scott
hard.
Bar.
The legendary. That is
No.
what the newest line of bulletproof suits are called. It is the official Scott Cloth brand.
Have you told
High
you?
quality wear.
Have we told any of our? We've got about like 20,000 listeners right now, right?
Well, let's be humble here. 19,500.
19,500.
We're doing our best.
That's the reason I'm on the show, because you guys have got such high numbers.
Is what it is. Eh?
Well, have you told your viewers of the merchandise giveaway that we have been planning?
Indeed, merchandise giveaway coming up.
That was coming
at
up.
the mark of officially 50,000. That's a lie. The first episode we get that crosses 100 views, we're going through and giving away a cap and a once in a lifetime multi-tool, right? It's going to be an 11-in-1 multi-tool, looking at spanner, screwdriver, knife, scissors, and other versatile objects that you need to fight off a plague, zombie apocalypse, or maybe just fix your furniture without paying $70 for a carpenter.
Or get less sun to have. Remember, it's important. It can save your life.
Yes, we must not burn. And people like myself, we tend to become lobsters in this hot heat where we end up peeling
Is
like
that a
snake.
crucifix behind you, Scott? What, in your background picture, is that a crucifix?
Yeah, it's a crucifix. I like to put myself on crosses.
That is the most fucked up thing I've ever
Crosses
heard.
with
We're allowed to swear on your podcast, right?
Of course we are. We're not a bunch of little pussies.
That is fucking crazy. But I
We
like
may
it.
speak profanity so long as it is controlled profanity. That is glorious. I don't know if there's such thing as glorious profanity, but we're kind of finding our way. All right. Even after 19,500 views, we're still kind of figuring our way through. It's
Okay.
cool though, guys. So that's giveaways over and done with. Onto the app. So something that's been noticed.
I just want to jump in. Sorry,
Go on.
before you go on to the examples of your positive seeds, mate, I wanted to mention for those that are listening to the audio, make sure to jump onto the YouTube link that's actually in the description of the episodes to check out the visuals if you actually prefer to watch the video live, and you can actually see our reactions to one another's comments
And I'm the sexy
and
one.
see our lovely faces.
Good. So I like that. And also, like and subscribe, guys. We need as much views
Yes.
as we can. And the luckiest one of you will get the free merchandise we are giving away. Is that right?
It will be a random selection, so make sure to like and subscribe, and we will choose one of you guys.
like and subscribe as many videos as you can, posts as you can. It will maximize the chance of you getting this giveaway.
Allows us to keep the show going, keep us off the streets. Now
Love
back
it.
to spiritual seeds.
Spiritual seeds, physical and mental seeds combined. So in those moments where one feels overwhelmed, it's really easy to just be aware of those moments, but then how does one go about actually combating those moments of fear that set in? And with myself, it's been delving into prayer these last couple of weeks, and truly in the moment when it's genuinely said and one is genuinely reaching out to the divine, right? There is a physiological effect that occurs in the body, almost like a feeling of comfort. It's a deeper feeling of comfort than one could possibly feel. And it's this reassuring feeling to say, no matter what happens, I'm with you, right? There's a lot in this world we don't quite understand. There's a lot in this world that's still to be discovered, and we're never going to discover everything. But if there's one thing that's for sure, is we are not alone, and that there is a power and a force out there that we can harness in times of need.
Take that, atheist.
Hey, look, end of the day, it's subjective experience. It's like we talked about in the last podcast. Spiritual experiences are the most subjective experiences, and it's a tough thing to try and measure. Even with electrodes on the brain, each person is going to experience it differently.
It's funny you say that. A lot of people seem to see the same things in the spiritual realm, I find.
Which is interesting, isn't it? It's
Like
certain
angels?
archetypes, certain particular repetitions of shapes, of entities, of beings, angels, for example, spirits. These appear again and again and again and again, cross-culturally throughout history. The devil, there's always been some kind of antithesis
I must
to the ultimate goodness.
add a little comment into that. There has been moments when I have felt like the devil was taking over in regards to my decisions and my actions.
Yeah, we know that, Scotty.
Well, I'm sure we've all had moments where we have negative emotions and negative thoughts crossing our minds more often than not. And an individual who may not even be religious, may be experiencing these things continuously, but not realizing that this is actually the handiwork, shall we say, that of the devil.
Yes.
Where he's forcing you into a path that you don't actually necessarily need or should be going down.
Yeah, well, it's actually a really profound thing you said there, Scott. It's like, look, you know, I obviously come on here because I love talking about this stuff specifically, you know. And
Reggie.
Oh, sorry, Reggie. That's correct. And yeah, so anyway, so I lost my train of thought there. But,
In terms of speaking of this kind of thing and how it has a deeper.
Yeah, you were talking about identifying the fact that sometimes you think the devil, like, you know, now what I would tell you to recognize, and this is as much wisdom as I can give on this stuff. I really feel it's important for me to tell people about this stuff because I know a little bit about it. Now, when you get the feeling, like you said, you feel like the devil is influencing stuff or that, what I'm going to tell you that you must try and, if you can look at it like this, you might be able to identify it smoothly and very accurately. Now, there's a thing which I'd like to call devil energy, okay? And that is a feeling which you get when you do certain things, okay? It's like it's a type of strength and type of power that you get. When you commit something, it's like when you do something bad, you get this a little bit of a rush that comes when you do it, okay? And that is a feeling which becomes addictive, okay? Sometimes, okay? So I don't care what it is, but that when you say that sometimes you feel like the devil's entering your life or that kind of stuff, you'll start, if you can identify that feeling with that, and it's a seductive feeling as well. It's a very seductive power almost. Now, when you start identifying that, it feels good, but you know it's bad type of thing. Once you can identify that, then you know, once you can identify what that feels like, what it feels like, that gives you the ability to identify an enemy, like a real enemy. And that stuff, that devil energy, it feeds itself. The more of it you do, the more it just goes around and around and around. It feeds itself. It's like itself. It perpetuates itself. The more you do it, the more it is there, and it builds and builds and it moves around like that. And you can break that cycle, that energetic cycle of devil energy. You can break it by resisting it. but it requires a very important element, which people don't know. You need to have strength to resist it. I mean, will. You have to have enough will to initiate an initial stop to it. And that is something that this is how you stop it. You identify it and you make a tough call on yourself. And it's always a no against an appetite or this dark desire, this seductive thing. And I tell you, if you do it properly, the minute you make it, you feel instantly good. It feels like a sacrifice in a way, but you feel good when you do it, right? You'll see the minute you make a decision to not do it, it's like that circle I was explaining to you. You break out of it for a second and then you're free, and then you come back to it again later and you get tested again, and then you can break again and it gets bigger and bigger.
Can we give they would say a practical example of this? If someone is feeling very self-conscious and very self-berating, very self-hateful, oh my God, I'm a piece of shit, damn it, fuck, and you just want to get angry at oneself, a lot of really dark thoughts end up coming in, thoughts of self-harm and other horrendously dark stuff. But in that moment, it's like, no, put a pause on that and say, is this really me? Is this really, am I really the kind of person who does this?
No, you said it. Is it me? Is it me, or is this something
And I
else?
know, Reggie, you do this a lot, bro.
Too.
Is you ask yourself this question a lot whenever you're faced with some kind of temptation. Like Siggy's was the recent example. It was like, is this me?
That's great.
What do I gain of it? What do I actually enjoy this? Why do I do this? And I know you brought that up many times, Reggie.
You get it. Like, that's a great example, like you said, about if you think about there's two types, right? You get like, and this is like to get biblical, but you can get challenged externally, okay, and you can get challenged internally, okay. So externally is like an evil force which comes and tempts you, and internally is like your own body that's been addicted to something for too long. When you try to stop that, it rises up to say no. I want that. That's the flesh, the heart. Like, that's the flesh that you're fighting against yourself, and that's terrible. I find that the worst. Now, the other one is an external thing where you feel almost as if, and this requires spiritual sensitivity. But sometimes, like you say, it's like, is it me that's having all these thoughts? Is it really me? Or was I just feeling fine, and all of a sudden I get hit with all this negative shit out of nowhere? And then you're like, wow. And then it's like a whole chain of fucking thought that goes around and around. Sometimes that is not you, man. And like, it really isn't.
Sometimes, or is it almost all the time?
No,
right?
because it can be.
I don't know if you're saying by Alan Watts, where he says we are not obliged to be the same person in 5 minutes as we are now. It's like we have a decision to be a different person, as tough as that is.
Yeah.
I think that was his way of putting across what you were saying earlier about saying no and being the person to put a stand and say, I choose to be different.
Yeah, well, no, what I was saying is you have to try and figure out in your own mind, is something triggering that cascade of thought? Because it becomes a cascade of thought. They say it'll be like, and like, I was telling you about this the other day, Monk, was like, when Jesus was tested, he was tested with 3 things, and those same 3 things are tested from anybody all the time by the devil. Like, though they never go away. It was the pride of the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eye, and the pride of life. Okay, these are the 3 tests which always get tested on. Okay, and that was when Jesus was, after he got baptized, he went to the desert for 40 days, and his weakest point, Satan appears to him and tempts him really hard. And he always started it with doubt, always, just like Adam in the garden. Okay, he says, if you're the Son of God, that's how he said, if, to make him question if he is even the Son of God. But if you're the Son of God and you're hungry, it's you can command these stones to become bread and eat them, and then his response was always scripture, and he said, it is written. That was always his response. It is written, a man shall not live on bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God, right? That's what he said in response. And then the devil moved to the next test. Okay. Next test, he goes, he shows him all the glories of the kingdoms of the world on a high mountain, all of them good. And he says, I will give you all of these if you will but bow down and worship me. Okay. You know what I mean? And then he says, "It is written, you shall serve no other God, no other gods but your Lord God in heaven." I'm paraphrasing. And then he goes, the last one was hectic. The devil used scripture against him. He said, he takes him to the top of the temple in Jerusalem. He says, "Cast yourself off the temple," because he says, "It is written that he shall give care over the angels to him, so that his foot shall not strike a rock." So he's using scripture against him, and he said, and that's the last one, the pride of life one. And he says, he tests him, and then he says in response to that, he says, "You shall you shall not tempt the Lord thy God." You know what I mean? Don't test God with what God says. You know what I mean? I'm not going to cast myself off because it's written that I'm going to be saved. You know, it's like that's testing God on a theory. That's not faith. There's no faith there. And those are the three tests that go all the time. Those three tests come from the devil all the time. And those three things can be broken down into all the lusts, like the physical appetites of hunger or anything like that. You'll break. If you have the power to change rocks into bread, or to do something to change your circumstances, if it's not prohibited, you know what I mean, and you can just break the law because you have the power to do so. You just break the law. Then it doesn't matter. You know, there are no rules. You know, that's a test. That's a test of pride. Okay, pride. I can do what I want. You know. And then the next one was showing all the glittering glories of everything. So whatever I see which I want, whatever I desire, I can take. If I cast aside God, I can go and get whatever I want, because there are no rules anymore. You know, I can just go and claim it with other power or whatever I want. That's the test of super envy, pride, lust, everything. And the last one was testing God when you know he's real. You know what I mean? And anyways, all I'm saying is those
Sure,
two.
man.
Yeah, it's a lot.
No, I was just going to say, in regards to those sort of examples that you've given from the Bible itself, for anyone that may not necessarily be following God as a religion, but they're also not saying the entity is not around. They may be just sort of questioning themselves, maybe even.
Yeah.
If they were potentially going through self-reflection in certain ways,
Yes.
do you feel that maybe
From a more secular
it would be a very similar road? Yeah. So it would be still doing self-reflection to see what has been your temptations.
Yeah.
But it's up to you whether you can actually overcome those temptations.
I think it comes down to, it comes down to making good decisions and not making bad decisions, and identifying what's good and bad. This is the most important thing. It's like, if you don't know that, you can't help yourself, So if you believe it's totally okay to, steal if you're hungry or whatever it is, if you can justify, it depends on the circumstances, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, what it comes down to is having the knowledge and understanding of, if I know that I have a problem with something, I can change it. I can change that by making better choices, making better choices. But sometimes, like I say, if you can put it down to psychology, if you don't want to put it down as like a spiritual external force that's influencing you, you can put it down to, let's say you have very bad habits that are ingrained in you because all your parents were drug addicts and you grew up in a drug addicted family, and like that's normal, and like it's very hard for you to change that. That's would be an example for me to kind of be like, that's an external force that you grew up with that it's very hard to break out of, and you can break out of that. Yeah, and you can break out of that. You could compare it comparatively to, like, that would be an external thing that's influencing you all the time. Like if you are in a drug addicted neighborhood where everybody's gangster and like it's all hectic, and you think that that's poisoning your environment all the time, you can still make choices to not be a part of that environment. It's just very, very difficult. It's very difficult. And it's the same thing spiritually. If you're bombarded by bad things the whole time, if you're in a dark,
you have a choice to accept the bad
light,
temptations or
choose
not.
the dark, or choose what's good for you, or choose what's bad for you. It's just very hard, and that's where the element of hope and faith come in. Now, if you can't have hope because you don't believe in God, have hope in yourself at least. that you can break, that you have enough strength to break out, you know what I mean, and try to find it, you know what I mean. And I feel very sorry for people that don't have, that don't have a religion or faith to fall back on, because
like a grounding pillar in one's life to go to when everything else falls around you, to at least have that pillar of certainty in your life, to say there is some force out there.
It's a huge gift to have that, because that's the thing which, everybody, if you've ever really been through something tremendous, you will know that your strength alone at some point will fail. You understand what I'm saying? But it's better to have faith in that, at least in that, if you have nothing else. Because some people don't have faith in anything. Like they've grown up in an environment where they are hopeless, and if they can't find hope in themselves or something, some dream even, then it's very difficult. And that's why I say it's so important to have faith and to trust in bigger things than yourself, because yourself is very weak in comparison.
You gotta have faith, the faith.
Yes.
You gotta.
Yes.
Hey, fellas, let me jump in here
with
the question. Let me jump in here with the question for you, dude. So recently you've gotten into a more serious style of meditation, where you're becoming a lot more aware of your own thoughts, your own actions, your own desires. Moose, yourself as well, for a number of years now, you've been developing and cultivating yourself. I know back in the past, certain things were tough, but you've come a long way, my man. But for the two of you, what have you noticed is the value of self-awareness, right? Let's say the first step is having hope and faith that one can actually be better than one's current environment and surroundings. But after that, to what importance do we attach a certain self-awareness of one's own bad habits and a certain self-awareness of ways in which we could be better? And then,
sorry, what was the question, Matt?
So let's say hope and faith is step one, right? Is to actually have hope and have faith that there can be a better tomorrow. After that, what role do you guys think an awareness plays of the specific ways in which?
I got you. I think that the most important thing that I've gotten out of this, of seeking God and all that, is that when I still myself, and I think the most important thing is being very honest. The honesty with like what you're going through personally, how you examining yourself requires a lot of truth. When you look, you don't want to look at yourself and see all the problems that you have, because it can be quite overwhelming, and it's very uncomfortable to look at your own flaws and weaknesses, but it requires an immense strength to do it. And if you don't do it honestly, it's a waste of time. So it's like, if you sit there and still your mind, I mean, I have had so many times where I'm like, I don't see how anything's going to possibly change for certain things that I'm doing. And it's like, it doesn't change the fact that I have faith, which is, thank God. So I still go and do it, right? But when I sit there and I look at the obstacles, or what have you, I know that, like, I'm not feeling confident about this, and I'm not sure this is going to work, and this and that. And I look at all those things and I still say, despite those, which are realities for me, they're realities. I'm not confident in this. I haven't had a good track record in that. But I can choose to not go ahead, or I can choose to go ahead regardless, and just pretty much power through, and that requires that requires.
I think Sorry, I was just going to jump in and say a good sort of comparative between the two of us is the fact that obviously I'm not as religious as you are, Moose, but I still believe that even those areas that you've mentioned yourself, being completely honest with yourself is how you can actually reflect truly and really make those differences, to actually notice what is needing to be changed. And if you're not willing to be honest with yourself and tell yourself, okay, what are you actually happy with in your life?
Yeah.
You're not going to find a way to actually
do anything,
go back onto the right routes.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you one thing is for damn sure is that within the last 2-3 weeks, doing these self-reflections on my little walks every now and again on the beach, when I'm actually hitting those meditational sessions, I'm self-reflecting and being completely honest with myself with certain habits and everything. There's still a couple of habits I need to get rid of, which irritate me, but they're a little bit more difficult because they've been around since I was a child.
Yeah.
So it's actually really, really difficult, but it's a nice test. It's an awesome test because I'm
The
like,
fact that you're seeing that you
if
can
I
see
can overcome this really is insane.
Yeah, exactly. So the fact that you can see them is the most important thing. It's like you won't even admit that they're there if you have pride. You see, if you have too much pride, you'll be like, "No, I'm good." You know what I mean? I don't care. You know, you won't even care about changing yourself.
Exactly.
You build a shield.
Being that
illusion
person who's
around
like, no, I'm perfect.
It's the worst thing. It's like
Yeah.
narcissistic.
Being
man.
those people that are like, oh, I'm perfect. Everything's good in my life. I've got this. I've got that. Yeah, okay, but
That's not,
what are you feeling?
no
internally?
person feels like that about themselves. You know what I'm saying? That's not. There's no person in the world that feels like themselves.
It's a
like,
mask.
It's pure mask. It's pure narcissism, man. It's like that is what the age is all about. Taking selfies and posting stupid shit. It's like it's so shallow. It's the most shallow shit ever. And it's really bad, man, because like you don't develop properly. You don't reflect correctly.
You know,
And when
I
everybody's
think
sorry.
I was going to say that I think that in some instances, it is also that negative sort of scratch at you to say, oh, do your friends appreciate you? Do your friends think you look good? And it's like a sort of another
Balance.
temptation
Yeah,
in yourself that you actually get addicted to because you're like, oh, I have to make sure my friends think I'm doing well in my life. I'm achieving the goals that I've said that I will be doing. I've got the nice Rolex. I've got the nice car. I've got a nice house now.
It's
all
like
of that
what
kind of stuff. Like,
yeah.
okay.
It's like what Steve Lovecarroll said the other day. He said, what did he say? He said, nobody posts pictures of themselves fighting at Christmas dinner, you know, or posting it. Nobody posts that stuff. Social media and all this stuff is designed to you only post good things. You know, you're cultivating a positive image.
Fuck.
You understand what I'm saying? Social media real posts would be like, yeah, I woke up, not gonna lie, I feel like killing myself today.
Yeah, I just remember I have
I'm gonna go
$100,000 of debt.
I'm gonna go work in my job. I'm gonna go work my job, which I hate. And the only joy I'm gonna get was when I go take a shit for 20 minutes.
Can I ask you guys, what was my latest post on Instagram?
I don't know. I don't follow you.
No, wait. God damn it, we're not friends anymore. But seriously though,
Moose.
Moose motherfucker. But was this on Scott? Wait, which one? The
Scott Clark.
William
No,
Scott
not
3241.
I'm gonna make a Scott Clark page. I'm gonna take
I
all
will
of
follow
I'm
it.
gonna take all of the stock images and I'm gonna post
So
them.
it's William Scott 3241, and I had posted some
I got more sales.
self-depriving pictures, shall we say, that people are probably wanting to post as like embarrassing pictures. But I went ahead and I posted them, and I was like, you know what? I'm a wacky weirdo who doesn't mind posting shit like this.
Right, so
And it's so weird that you guys
just to
mentioned
fill
that
in,
the day
John,
after I posted it.
just to fill in the audience who haven't seen on Reggie's personal Instagram.
Don't follow Reggie.
Okay.
That's a bad idea.
Well, follow Reggie if you feel like it. So it's scott.t.will3241.
Don't
guys.
Scott.
Follow this
Scott.
guy. Do your thing.
Do not
Monk,
follow.
And also
you
follow
got it
Moose
wrong.
Rampage. It's a cool guy.
I will
Monk.
not follow you back. If you follow me, I will not follow you back.
Unless you want
Monk.
to order some products from Trigger. Yes.
If you want to order
Monk,
product, I will
you've got it
interview you
wrong.
and see if you're worthy for my product.
Go for it.
Sorry,
It's-
what were you saying?
It's William Scott 3241, not Scotty.t.will.3241. That's my email.
I thought it was Scotty69 at I love you. At Gmail.
That's it. That's the private account, man. Why are you letting people
Oh.
know about that?
Okay, I got you. Sorry, Scott.
We just gave it to the 1,000 million listeners of ours.
We are kind of a big deal online, guys. So.
But seriously though, Reg, you were mentioning earlier, guys, for those who haven't seen, you posted crazy images of you doing wacky faces, and it was a real authentic side of yourself to say, you know what, how does one go about each day really, showing the world a different side of oneself? Moose, as you were saying earlier, everyone's caught in this emotional vanity rat race of sorts where everyone's trying to post the newest nice thing that happened to them on social media. Look at me at this restaurant eating food I don't even like with friends I don't even enjoy hanging out with.
I'm so over
paying
that.
17
I'm so
bucks
over
for
that.
eggs or something, whatever the
I
fuck.
think it's the only time social media is actually good is when you're really happy. When you're really happy and then you actually post something. Apart from that, it doesn't exist. It's like I don't want to know.
That's how I feel right now.
Yeah, it's like
That's genuinely how I
unless
feel
I've
right
got
now.
something awesome to post, I'm not posting shit. I'm not gonna post about my crappy day and be like, it's like I have to have something worthwhile, and then I'll post something. If I have something worth saying, I'll post it. Like otherwise, I'm wasting my time.
Can I ask you, gents, one question?
Okay.
When you're walking around,
Oh God.
do you ever actually see individuals smiling if they are
We're in
not talking to
Cyprus.
anyone?
We're in Cyprus,
phones?
bro. I don't see people smile anywhere here. My friend and I call this place the land of smiles because it was a sarcastic term. Because it's the most miserable fucking people I've ever seen in my life. I swear, man. But Joey, go ahead. To answer your question,
can
that was
vouch for that because last night when I was taking my walk,
you do a lot of smiles.
I actually was just simply reflecting, and I was enjoying myself. I was smiling.
Oh
and I was
yeah.
just walking along, and the amount of miserable people
I know.
that are just staring at you, and it's just like, I'm happy. Leave me alone.
No, Scotty, I know exactly what that's like. Because I really get into a great mood, and then when I look around and I see all the miserable people, I'm like, oh, this gets better and better. Because it just
makes me laugh
happy.
even more.
It makes me laugh because you know why? Seriously, I think that also these guys are super vain on this island. There's so much vanity. It's like these guys are like they can't handle people that are happy or people that are bright or loud or like it's like they're just very 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 dark and
they
depressive.
don't see
Very
very many
depressive.
high energy people.
Dude.
That's why they don't have energy. They're very lethargic,
they can't
very
handle
relaxed.
they can't handle New York shit. Joburg is like New York.
Sub-Saharan level.
They can't handle sub-Saharan skills. Dude. They can't because it's like everything you have to be high energy and super positive to just get through the fucking day. They don't even know what that's like. It's like oh shit, looks like we're having riots. They're burning down stuff. I'm gonna get my gun and go to the store. Cool. It's like these guys have no idea what kind of how many mind games you have to do on yourself just to pretend, just to be okay, just to get through the day. You have to be like, you know, guys, this place is burning to pieces around. So you know what? Let's try to get that down. Always look on the bright side. Like what the fuck?
See, this is something profound, fellas. It's not just the fact of having to try and play mind games with oneself, but on a deeper level, it's a mentality of like making a plan. Like for those who don't know, in sub-Saharan Africa in particular, among a lot of other countries in the world that struggle with electricity, water, and many other things, one has to make a plan for almost everything. Electricity goes out, you need to either put money down for solar panels or for a generator, or you've got to hook up your electricity to your friend's line so he can give you power. Reggie will back this up, Moose will back this up. If you don't have water, you have to dig a borehole, you have to get a well, you have to get a friend with water, or you phone a truck to come and deliver. The roads are completely buggered, so everyone has a tow truck company number on dial, or everyone there knows how to change a tire. You're a complete idiot if you know how to change a tire. And it's this mentality of let's make a plan, right? Let's make a plan, which on a macro level is really good for, like, dare we say, a short-term defensive mindset, which is like, okay, I'm gonna deal with today, whatever challenges come, I'm a jiu-jitsu my way through them. But it seems to be quite a tough one for long-term development because people are so busy worrying about day-to-day shit that it's kind of hard to plan for the long term if you don't know if your currency is going to be valid 6 months from now, or you don't know if there's going to be a civil war 3 months from now. It's kind of hard to plan anything really for that matter. And
yeah,
colors, it's one of those things, I mean, planting seeds of positivity and negativity. If there's anything y'all want to end on before we finish?
It's ingrained in our lives. I think it's something that we've grown up with in sub-Saharan Africa. Is this way of life of finding the positives, no matter where we are or what shitty thing has happened to us.
You don't have a choice.
It's sort of ingrained. Exactly.
You don't have a choice,
we've
bro.
got to find a way out of it.
We need water. We're gonna have to learn how to dig a borehole manually with no fucking tools and shovels, right? To get to water. I mean, this is how it goes. So it's like, I think that just, you know, great adversity with only your will and you to see you through, you know, it's a really great thing, man. It's a real pioneer spirit that exists there. It's a pioneer spirit.
It is.
It's like you don't give up. You have to try your best. We don't actually have a choice, so you don't have a choice. So it's that kind of thing. And if you can't think like that, you're in deep shit. You know what I mean? You're going to be in deep shit, and it's like you're going to suffer tremendously. So it forces you to work hard.
Definitely, and I think that could lead on to another episode to where we can go into detail of how we have personally utilized this mental gain
Fellas,
for ourselves,
this is the
and how
second
we've
episode we
actually
can do on
become
perspective,
really,
Reg.
really.
This is the second episode on perspective
Indeed,
of,
this would be
of 6
perfect.
parts, dude, that we could include. Analyzing the profound mindset of like making a plan and having to overcome daily difficulties, and the natural mindset that does exist within those communities that had things tougher than others.
Yeah.
Definitely think it's a good idea, and we want to thank you once again, obviously, for tuning in. I know it's been a much shorter episode to what we've usually been posting, but that's simply because it was a summary of positive seeds and how we can utilize them in our lives. So thank you very much for listening. Don't forget to check out the YouTube video if you want to actually see our facial expressions whilst this podcast has been recorded. There's definitely some entertaining scenes throughout this video, for sure. And yeah, thank you very much for tuning in.
I personally don't care if you do, but I mean, if you do go to YouTube and you do subscribe, you do have a chance to win a mug, a hat, and a utility tool.
An 11-in-1 man versus.
Can't we just give them an axe or something? Can you guys do a vote about whether we want to get an axe?
Listen, for an axe, you got to donate to Patreon, you got to buy new stuff, and you've got to prove your loyalty with a 3-month challenge, and only the top 1% of viewership shall get a combat axe.
No, I got it. They have to kill a farm animal that they're going to eat, and then we'll give them an axe.
It's got to be above. It's got to be above a 5-kilogram farm animal. You have to kill a kilogram. Yes, it's a goat, chicken, like a goat, a sheep, a cow. You can kill a chicken, but it takes real guts to kill a goat that's trying to struggle.
I don't want to kill a goat.
It's okay. You're not killing a goat, mate. You get free merchandise.
You know, man, I take it back. Forget about the axe. Let's just give them a
handsaw. You have to kill the animal with a handsaw.
Oh my God. Okay, this is taking a real big turn.
Guys, thank you very much for tuning in. This has been
Stay tuned for
subscribe to win a dead animal.
Stay tuned for some more positive thoughts and some more wacky, entertaining podcasts. We love you all for tuning in, and we'll see you next episode.
Go to hell.
Peace.